Make sure I'm recording to the cloud. Hold on. Okay, so Amy, we're working with the red band. Do you have your red band with you today? Or a band? Excellent. Perfect. It's a red one, long like this. You see, it's a longer band, like that. Yes, yes, that's perfect. That's perfect. Exactly. Gosh, you guys come prepared. I love that. All right, cool. All right, so we'll get started. I'm so excited to have this smaller class, and I'll be able to like check out your form and stuff. So good. All right, so Amy and Che, we're gonna come on up to standing. That's the first thing we're gonna do. I'm gonna head on over here. Today, the first exercise that we're going to do with this is a squat with the red band. So what you want to do is make sure before we step onto the band, make sure that it's relatively wide, not twisted or corded up. We're going to place our feet, our arch pockets to be exact, on the band so that there's maybe about 4 inches of space, 3 or 4 inches of space between your 2 feet. And you want to look for a moment at your toes, see that all 10 of the toes are shining straight ahead. In terms of how we hold on to the band, it's not about choking up too high for right now. You basically want to choke up near the end. So like the end of the band is kind of like poking out of your hand, like tissue sticking out of the box. And then let's take a quick second or two just to make sure our weight's even on the toes and the heels as well. We're going to go ahead and find a nice crease at the top of the hip, sweep those long arms up, and as you're sweeping those arms up, feel the shoulder blades melting down the back line of the torso. I'm going to have us hold this squat for a second. Checking once again that the weight's even on the toes and the heels the same. Maybe glance for a quick second your eyes or use your mind's eye. See that your knees are in line with big toe, second toe. They're not knocking in and they're not splaying open. And then we'll do our next inhale as a way to rise ourselves back up to standing. So as we exhale, we're lengthening down. Okay, I use the word lengthen, not drop. So we want to really reach that tailbone nice and long as we lower. And then inhale, we're going to lengthen back up to standing. Good. In terms of the arms, I'm going to just change my vantage point, but we're all still moving. You're going to sweep the arms up. Again, it's due to the shoulder blades sliding down. We're not aggressive with the arm raise. If you feel like you're going into your neck, you simply lift the arms a little bit less, okay? We're exhaling to lower, inhaling to rise up. Beautiful, friends. And as you can see from me on my profile, there's this hinge of sorts. I'm tilting or bowing forward my torso, and that's what qualifies this as a squat. We're thinking of creasing right here at the top of the hip. We hinge the torso forward. We're discovering lots of length created through the crown of the head and the tailbone as we create the squat. And then we raise right back up, nice and tall. Good, there are a couple changes going on, but let's keep doing what we're currently doing before we layer on those changes. Try to engage the breath a little more, because the breath is such an awesome informer of the quality of movement. So when you go down and you're exhaling, actively draw gently the belly button in and up towards the center of your 2 shoulder blades. When you inhale, feel that length occurring through the spine and out through the crown of the head as you come back up to standing. So you can really utilize that breath so that we don't feel like our muscles have to effort so much, okay? Not that they're not working, they're certainly working. Exhaling to lower, let's hold this next one. Again, feeling aggressive with the arms, are you finding yourselves jamming your shoulders up or bending your elbows? Take the arms down where it's feasible for you. Good, and now, with our mind's eye focus on that tailbone, we're thinking of going down and back, maybe 1 inch with the pelvis, and then slightly up and forward. An inch, so it's down and back. Arms are staying in a fixed position, down and back, and then forward and up. So we're not just going up and down with the butt like this. In fact, let's check in, everyone, that we're not really altering or changing the angle of this knee. That way we're going to keep the movement at the base of the pelvis and in these ball socket joints of the hips. Try to discover lots of stretching length occurring, or just imagine it occurring through that tailbone. We have a few more. There is one tiny change coming up. Keep the glutes soft, broaden those sitting bones wide. Hold the next one in that down and back. Good, abs are pulled in, supporting the lower back. We're going to peel just a teeny tiny quarter of an inch the heels off. Not a lot. Feel all 10 toes melting into your mat. See in your mind's eye that your knees are still in line with big toe, second toe. And then from your lats, those armpit region muscles, we're going right into a little offering. Those elbows bending close to the sideline of your body. We're offering those arms forward. Now, nothing shifting or moving on those toes. So this is a balance challenge. You don't want to like rock about. I mean, it might happen, but try not to. Feel those shoulders melting down the back line of the torso more and more, the more you stretch those arms long. Beautiful. Toe cushions are melting wide on the carriage. We inhale to offer those arms forward. Exhale to pull it in. We got 2 more. Use that breath to create even more space and length in your spine. Here's our last one. Hold. Lower the heels. Come back up to standing. Good work, everyone. So now let's explore a little more hip hinging, a little more hip functionality. What I'll have us do is we'll face one end of the mat. We're again stepping into the band the same way, just with one foot this time, and it will be, let's say, our right foot. So our right foot goes right into that band, and we're gonna hold on to the ends of the band. We can choke up for this a little bit more, but we wanna hold on with a parallel grip. So what that means is the wrists are facing one another. Good. Now from here, I want you to take a little bigger than a natural step back. So if this is our natural step back, we're gonna go about 3-4 inches more than that, okay? Fantastic. Hold the arms by your side like 2-letter L's. Great. We're going to bend the back left knee. Weight is even on both feet the same. Hold. Now stretch that back left knee so your torso is tilting forward and you can create this long diagonal from the crown of the head to that back heel. That's really the most important thing. Weight is primarily on this right foot now, but can you feel that back line length existing from your back left ankle up along your backside out through the crown of the head? Now keeping all of that length, we can do a little arm involvement here. We're going to extend those elbows, exhale to bend the arms. So we're inhaling, extending the arms. Keep the wrists from breaking or torquing. Like right now my wrists are broken. You see that? You want to keep those wrists long, and you're going to feel all those muscles of the forearms engage better, and then also what engages better when you keep good long wrists is your mid-upper back musculature. The second you break those wrists, you're kind of divorcing yourself from activating all the good stuff up here. Good, awesome. So again, we're extending those arms, parallel grip, and we bend those elbows. Beautiful. If you ever need more tension or more challenge from the band, you can keep going on your own. I'm just going to let you know one thing. You can always choke up more band. If you ever want a little less resistance from the band, you would choke up less. Something you want to avoid doing is wrapping the band like this around your hand. That's not a good thing. It's not ideal. It cuts your circulation off, but also it diminishes the involvement of the forearm. So just keep that in mind. Good. We have a couple more like this. Extend the arms long on the inhale, exhale to bend. Feel as you stretch those arms long, you're really connecting nicely the muscles of those mid-back. You're drawing the inner borders of the scapula together. We got 3 more here. Don't forget to smile. We have 2 changes on deck, so we're not quite done in 2 reps. We're going to do some more hip hinging. Go ahead, bend those arms, hold. Think of the back left knee bending sharply. That brings your torso upright, like a Murphy bed going into a wall. Now, you want to have that back left knee level with the back left ankle, and then you extend that back leg and find yourself hinging forward, back to that long diagonal. So again, exhale as you bend that back left leg, hinging upright, pelvis and spine always neutral. Extend that back leg, hinging forward. Use the inhale to find extra more length when you come to this diagonal. 95% of the weight is on this front right foot and leg. Good. There is one tiny change on deck, everybody. Beautiful form. I'm seeing both of you are 2 of you have your screens on. Good. That's excellent. Let's go for 2 more. Inhale to bow forward. Exhale to come back. We have one last change coming on deck, friends. We got this. Hold this nice diagonal. Arms long towards the floor. We're going to point the back left foot a lot, but the left toe is only lifted off maybe a quarter of an inch. Now from that left booty line, I don't want to see a big lift. I'm going for just a tiny little lift and lower. Nothing is affecting or moving the pelvis or lower back. You can add a little row of the arms. I'm going to change my viewpoint so you see this arm work better. Keep moving on your end. So as you do that little lift, you can add this small little row, almost like scarecrow arms. Good. Again, shoulder blades dropping down. Beautiful. We have 4 more. Feel that length. Good. Last 3. We have 2. And we're coming upright. Excellent work, you guys. Very, very nice. Well, I know that right side is getting quite the burn and whatnot. So let's take it to the left side for our next exercise. The next exercise is inspired by the step downs you might have done in the studio on the Wunda chair. Okay, so what we will do now is stand on our left leg, and we're going to find again that wide band. Okay, place the arch pocket of the right foot this time on the band. Again, we're going to go back to choking up not a lot like we did at the top of the session. Arms are reaching in front of you because the shoulder blades melt down and invite those arms to rise. We want to keep a little attention on that left foot. That will be our working standing foot. See that all 5 of the left toes are shining straight ahead, parallel. And like as per usual, we want to maintain weight across all 4 corners of that standing left foot. As we keep our arms in a fixed position, they could be shoulder height or slightly below that, whatever is best for you. You float the right leg up, creating a 90-degree angle at the right knee and the right hip. Now, as we hold this, don't look down, but check in. Are you hyper-locking in the back of that left knee? Give me a little micro crease back there. Good, excellent. Don't look down, rather look up. See in your mind's eye that your belt line is level, that right ball socket joint of the hip is level with the left side. And now, shoulders stay stacked over the left standing heel. We're going to extend that right leg on a low diagonal, like half the Kmart sign. As you exhale, you're going to bend that knee, returning that knee and hip to 90-90. Now, this is all stuff happening that you're seeing with your mind's eye. I don't want you to look down and check your work. That's going to fatoots with your alignment, okay? By staying really upright, we're going to feel a strong, deep abdominal engagement. This is a balance challenge. This is a lot of challenge. There's a lot going on. So we're going to keep a focal point on the wall. We're moving slow. Again, the arms stay in a fixed position. Good. When you stretch that right leg, that's our gesture leg. When that right leg stretches straight, visualize and feel how the right knee is absorbing into the quadricep. And when you bend that right knee, sense and feel how the right femur head is slipping deep into the dome of the pelvis, where it's received by those low, deep abs. You guys, we are doing a great job. I know this is challenging. We got 2 more, and then we have only one change coming up. Good. Exhale to bend that right knee, pause. Now we're going to bring that leg down about halfway. Hold the arms and that gesture leg still. A shallow plie on the left. Extend the left leg. Again, this will not be a deep bend. It's not like our squat earlier. We want to avoid the booty poking back or the chest tilting forward. Beautiful. Keep the weight even throughout, whether you're going down or coming up on all 4 corners of the left foot. Exhale to lower. Inhale to rise up. Let's go for 2 more. And we have 1 more. Let's go ahead and come all the way up to standing. Great job, everybody. Let's take it down to the floor. We're going to bring our band with us, first of all. Excellent. And the next thing we're going to do is we want to keep this band relatively wide, and it's going to drape across our backside. So, as wide as a scarf, perhaps, if during the course of this next exercise it gets twisted or corded up, so be it. We won't fuss too much about that. We've got the ends of the band threaded between the index fingers and the thumbs. The band should be slightly below your 2 shoulder blades. And then once you have that, let's go ahead and take ourselves into a 4-point kneel. So we have hands on your shoulders, Knees under hips, we have a nice neutral spine, neutral pelvis. Beautiful. Not a lot of weight going on here. We have our weight distributed equally between our knees and our hands, feet gently pointed. We're going to exhale and round the spine in a moment. And we want to use the band's tension to feel those mid-back muscles getting a nice stretch. But we want to make it come gently from the low, deep abs. Void, if you can, that band snapping up by your neck. Hold that roundness, looking at your knees. Can you feel how that round mid-back, as you're doming it up, is stretching those fibers of the band wrapped around your mid-back? Then inhale, with intention, stretch the crown of the head and the tailbone away from one another, returning to neutral. Avoid dumping in the lower back. We want to always support that neutral position. So here we go with flow. Exhaling, we're rounding the spine. Note how the band stretching fibers give you the sense of proprioceptive feedback that lets you really enjoy that cat stretch. Inhale as you return to neutral. The band's resistance helps you find that scapular stabilization, which is really key in awakening the mid-back. Exhale, shin bones are heavy. Tailbone, crown of the head dripping towards the floor. As you inhale, tailbone and crown of the head lengthen away from one another. Let's keep all of that and implement it into a next layer of challenge. So we're going to flex those feet and toes. Let there be no light between your knees, your ankles, feet. Good. Still keeping weight even on the feet and toes the same. You're going to float the knees up so that the knees are up as high as the ankles. Same thing without moving your knees or your shins. You're rounding your spine as you exhale. Inhale, find that lengthened position so the shins stay parallel to the floor throughout. Exhale, round the spine, tailbone, crown of the head dripping down. Inhale, tailbone, crown of the head equally stretching away from one another. Beautiful, and meanwhile those knees are level with the ankles as they're lifted to a hover above your mat. Exhale to round. Inhale to come back up, nice and long. Let's do one more. Keep those elbows from hyperlocking. Oh, it feels so good. Inhale back to neutral, and then lower those knees back down. Fantastic, everyone. We're bringing it up to standing again, and we're going to get right to that step down for the other side. So this time we're standing on our right foot. So we'll hold the ends of the band lightly, not choking up too high. Keep the band nice and wide, and you're going to put the left arch pocket on that wide part of the band. Fabulous. So let's find a focal point. You know, I always like to say to my classes, where the eye line goes, the alignment follows. So if you're looking up high, chances are you're going to more easily stay up nice and tall. We've got the arms up because the shoulder blades are melting down around the rib basket. You notice my arms aren't really up as high as my shoulders. They could be if I wanted a little more upper body focus, but here's just fine for me. You're going to find where it's fine for you. So we're going to stand on that right foot, checking in the right toes up, all five shining straight ahead. And then when you're ready, crease at the top of the left hip. Find that 90 and 90 as you're lifting that left knee. Can you kind of note how the left femur head just kind of slips a little bit deeper into the dome of the left pelvis? The band's tension helps us not overly grip here in this pinchy hip flexor. Beautiful. Now keeping those arms in a fixed position, we elongate the back line of the left leg. The left leg is stretching down low like half a Kmart sign. Lots of length. Then we crease once again at the top of the left hip, returning the left knee and hip to that 90 and 90 bend. Breathing is inhale. Don't look down and see what's happening. Look up. Your mind's eye can detect what's going on below. The mind's eye is the most important. It's better than the two eyeballs in your head. Beautiful, guys. The shoulder blades continue to drift down the back line of the torso. See that you have weight across all four corners of that supporting standing right foot. And we're not hyperlocking in the back of that right knee joint. You're going to feel more of those smaller local muscles in the upper inner thighs, in the low abs, if you don't hyperlock that standing right knee. You guys are doing so good. All right, well, there's just one change coming up. Let's just implement the breathing a little more. Inhale as you extend that left leg just to find that nice length. Exhaling. Abdominals engaged, they contract. The abdominals invite that left knee to bend. Let's go for one more. Now let's extend that left leg just halfway, pause. Eye line is up. We're gonna do a shallow plie on that standing right knee. Who else is shaking? If you're not, maybe you're plieing too deep. You're forcing it. Make it real shallow. See the right knee just ever so slightly going forward of the right ankle crease. Not a lot. Keep the pubic bone and the sternum on the same plane. We have 4. It's almost done. Stay with me. Let's do 2. Oh, this is so good. I feel the shakes. I feel the shakes. Woo! And back. And who doesn't feel the arms, right? Extra bonus. All right. So let's get to that hip hinge exercise. This time with the other leg forward. So guys, we're going to put the left foot forward on the band. I'm going to face the same way. You face whatever works for you. Good. Excellent. And we had a parallel grasp in that last exercise. We're going to change it up a little bit so that we're going to change our forearm orientation to what's known as a supinated forearm. So if you look, I've got my wrist and palms facing up, just for a little more variety here. We're going to take a natural step back with the right foot, and then we're going to take another little couple inches back step. Then that back right knee, so that we're bringing that right knee level with the right ankle, and then we extend that back right leg and find that nice long line that we talked about on the first side. Let's see if we can really feel those elbows and upper arm bones magnetizing to the sideline of our body. What we don't want to do is have them kind of out like this. Feel how the armpit muscles engage. I won't bother you with all their names, but feel how that muscle group engages to really magnetize things, connecting you to your center much more. Good. Can you also feel how, if we're not careful, the shoulders are just going to spill forward. So maintain that scapular stabilization by drawing the inner borders of your shoulder blades towards your midline. Fabulous. So keeping the supinated forearm grip, we're going to go right into that tricep extension. It should feel a little different than the first side did because we're not in a parallel grip. So what that does essentially is that we're targeting different fibers of the mid-back and the tricep. Now primary weight's on that front left foot. Good. I'm going to change my orientation so you get a different viewpoint. When the arms extend, they can almost go out a little wider than the first time. So kind of like the belly of an airplane. Just look at the wrist, make sure this broken wrist syndrome is not occurring. What they call kitten paw wrist. Again, remember, if those wrists aren't straight, that's going to divorce us from activating the mid-back. I hope you're feeling that front left hip. I certainly am. Beautiful. Check your left knee is not too far forward into bend. We only need that knee forward of the ankle crease, hovering over the foot island and in line with big toe, second toe versus a big lunge forward, okay? Good, just a few more. We have some changes, if you recall, from that first side. Good, extend those arms long. Now we're gonna keep those arms straight. And we're gonna bend that back leg, becoming upright even though we're relatively low. Pause, hopefully your wrists are still facing forward. We're going to keep those arms in a fixed position this time as we do these hip hinges. So we exhale, crease at the back of the right knee, bring yourself upright, your right knee is in line with that right ankle, and then inhale, absorb that right knee into the quadricep to cue your torso to hinge forward. Now by now, especially if your arms are slightly behind you, you should feel a lot of heat in that mid-back. We don't want the arms kind of getting lazy and just hanging out generically wherever. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. Beautiful. Now, we have about 4 more. There is one change on deck, everybody. Can you visualize and sense how you're keeping the left femur very still in space while the dome of the left pelvis is moving very swimmingly atop of it? That's a good thing. That's going to create lots of hip functionality as well as strengthen all the muscles surrounding that joint. So here's our next change. We're going to go ahead and find that nice long diagonal. Arms are still long. If you need less band, by all means do so. Weight's primarily on that left foot. We have our wrists facing down. Our wrists are long. I hope mine are. Point that right foot Not lifting that right foot too high, friends. We're doing a little lift and lower. Good. Moving from the glam line beneath the right buttock to lift that right leg only a couple inches. Arms are staying fixed. I'm going to change my vantage point. If you want the extra added upper body challenge, you can do a little open, close, snow angel style. Good. Just like so. Beautiful. Or if that's aggressive, as it seems to be with me, no, I got it. Very nice. Let's go for 3, 2. We have 1 more. And regroup. Awesome. Well, I hope this is all getting woken up. Let's come down to our mat. We're going to sit in our best L sit possible. And want to get that band around our arches, okay? So we're going to move on to some more core-based exercises. The band goes relatively wide, as per usual, around our 2 parallel feet. And when we sit in our best L sit, that doesn't necessarily mean straight legs. We want to rather feel those sit bones really anchored to the mat, and then you can feel that spine nice and tall at the top of the sit bones. It's not going to serve us at all if our legs are straight, but we've got this kind of roundness in our lower back when we're trying to sit up tall, okay? So by all means, bend those knees, feel those golf balls in your seat. We're going to reach the arms up, choke not too much, but not too light either. We're going to go right into a little spine twist. So without shifting or moving your legs or feet, bend your right arm, rotate to your right. Your left arm's going to basically stay in a fixed position. Feel your right arm reaching back to the wall behind you, or I should say your right elbow, but your left rib basket is wrapping towards that wall on your right. Then de-rotate, re-elongating the arm in front of you. We're going to alternate sides. So now it's time to twist to your left. You think about initially sliding that left shoulder down, then bending the left elbow point soon after, wrapping that right rib basket around, and then coming back to center. Beautiful. Always keep some tension in the band, even when you come back to center. Inhaling as you twist, exhaling as you come back. The band gives you a little resistance for your waistline muscles to work against, but it also helps enhance the sense of stretch created in your spinal column. Beautiful. Reaching through that elbow point of the arm, reaching back. Coming back to center, we'll do 1 more and move on. Inhale as you twist. And exhale to come back. Good, beautiful. Scrape the barrel, similar to something we do on the WundaFormer in the studio. We're going to choke up a little bit less on that band. We're sitting in that L sit position once again. Wrists and arms, hands are parallel, meaning palms are facing one another. You'll hinge back, I would say maybe 2 inches tops, finding that length through the crown of the head, that lifted chest, wide collarbone. Now, with intention, curl the tailbone under, as if there were a gear wheel outside of your pelvis spinning to the wall behind you. You're only going down halfway, not a lot. Hold. So let's hold this. I know we're not moving, but that doesn't mean we're not working. There's always work in the stillness. Find lots of length on the front side of your body versus this dumping of the lower back and this crunching. We want to, in fact, not even create a single wrinkle on the front side of your t-shirt. So if you need to come back up, find that length once again on the hinge back. Increase, not shorten, increase the length as you find that flexion being created in the lower portion of your spine. Beautiful. Our feet are flexed parallel, 4 inches apart. We're going to bring our middle fingernails together, and we're going to go into what we call scrape the barrel. So if you imagine this lengthened front side of the body is the barrel of wine, you are scraping that barrel. Good. While keeping the flexion in your lumbar spine stabilized, keeping the shoulder blades stabilized. We don't want to crowd those shoulders up as we move these arms up in a circular fashion. So you might even choke up more. I'm finding it's getting more abdominal challenge if I just choke up a little bit more. And also you'll find a little more abdominal challenge if you remember to keep the band taut, T-A-U-T. Don't let there be moments where it's loosey-goosey. So let's go ahead and take a moment, reverse direction. You are scraping a barrel of wine. It is rosé season, right? So maybe you're a whispering angel or whatever you want to be. Very nice. Make the scrape a little bigger to feel those abdominals a little more. Let the back of your legs absorb into your mat. You've got 3 more. Woo! We have a starburst coming up next in 2 reps. We're going to come back to that nice L sit in a moment. Here's our last one. And come all the way up. So what's a starburst? Well, first of all, what we're going to do is find that our feet are like this in a V. Heels together, toes apart. We're going to take the ends of the band again with a parallel grip. Find that lengthened hinge back. Just think of that flexion being created in your lumbar spine. And then we're going to bring both of our fists together. So we do have our fists just like so. Good. Anchor your hips equally to the floor. We're going to add a rotation to the right, and those arms open equally away from your sternum. Now we got to make sure that opposite hip is anchored. So too is this opposite turned out heel. And then we're going to come back to center, re-gluing the fists to one another. We'll go the other side. The goal is to open those arms evenly and equally away from your center as you incorporate that waistline wrap, all right? So you're inhaling as you rotate, exhaling as you're coming back to center. So even with this flexion combined with rotation existing in our spine, we should find length even still. 1 more each way, wrists stay long, both hips, both heels stay anchored to the mat. We have 1 more to go. And we're going to bring it on back. So good. We're going to do 1 or 2 exercises without the band. We'll get to it in just a moment. Let's put it to the side right now. Let's stretch out the spine in a different direction, okay? We'll do a little extension. So what I'd like everybody to do is we're going to lie down on our stomach, okay? What we call prone. And we want to make it so that we have maybe 4 or 5 inches of space between our feet. Toes are melting into the floor. We don't want tucked under toes. Good. We're just going to take a moment and let our forehead greet the mat. So you're not seeing me on the screen, but you're hearing my verbal cueing. Your palms are flat on the floor. Your hands are slightly above your shoulders. Your forearms are melting into the floor. Let's take a moment and ever so slightly engage the glutes. Not grip them, just engage them so we can push the pubic bone a little firmly into the mat. We slide those shoulder blades down like we've done in so many exercises prior to this. Think of pushing a marble away with the tip of your nose. That's going to take your cervical spine to a neutral alignment. And then with reach occurring through the crown of the head, you're going to float up only slightly. We don't want to be going into that lower back. That lower back is known as your lumbar spine. So what we're extending right now is the upper portion of the spine. We call that the thoracic spine. All right, and the cervical spine, the neck bones, are a continuation of the rest of that spine. Beautiful. Not a lot of weight on the forearms, but there's a lot of press of the pubic bone into the mat. Why? Why press the pubic bone into the mat? So we don't agitate the lower back. Now, on your next exhale, like a waterfall cascading over a cliff, you're going to bring that forehead gently back onto the mat. When the forehead makes contact, you can release the shoulders. Just let them slump like a mudslide. To do that again, we slide the scapula down, creating lots of length in the neck. Push an imaginary marble away with the tip of your nose, and with length and energy through the crown head, we're floating up. You want to not come so high that your bottom rib is losing contact with the mat. Eyeline is down. If you're looking straight at the wall by your hands, then guess what that does? It breaks the neckline, right? We don't want that. Take another inhale here. Exhale, lower back down. Let's do that on 2 breaths. We're going to inhale to come up with a little more flow. Pubic bone firmly pressing into the mat. And we're exhaling to lower back down. Last one, my friends. Slide the scapula down. Push an imaginary marble away. We're lengthening up. Going to get to some upper body in just a moment. And then lower everything back down. Beautiful. We'll take a quick second or 2. Go into a little child's pose, just stretching out anything that got a little tight in that last exercise. Beautiful, friends. Okay, let's grab our band once again. And we're going to find ourselves with the band on the floor. We're on a 4-point kneel. I'm just showing you a certain viewpoint. You might still be profile like so. That's all good. Band relatively wide. And we're going to just keep our hands flat, except we're threading one end of the band between the right thumb and index finger. Good. There's no space between your knees. You want to keep your knees directly under your hips. Eye line is looking down at the floor, so like in the last exercise, your neck is long, a continuation of the rest of the spine. With a closed fist under your, let's actually close our fist around that right hand and sweep the right arm up laterally as you breathe in. Exhale, lower the arm down. Now, you might meet the floor before your arm is directly under your right shoulder. That's okay. But again, it's less about how high you lift that arm, and it's more about finding that nice scapular connection. We talked about that a few times already. So we inhale to sweep that right arm up laterally to the right side of the room, and then exhale to lower down. Now, you keep moving at your end. Something I want to watch out for is letting the hips, the left hip especially, kind of slump over. You know, you're going to feel your abdominals quite significantly in this exercise if you keep your weight even on both knees the same, and you avoid that left hip from slumping over. So if you keep that squareness, you're going to feel your abs immediately flare up because they have no choice but to, right? We decreased our base of support from a 4-point kneel to a 3-point kneel. Good, excellent. Inhale to sweep that arm up. Less about how high that right arm goes, more about how well you slide the right shoulder blade down the back line of the torso as that arm is lifting laterally. We have just a couple more, you guys. Just a couple more. Excellent. One little change on deck. We can do this. Lift that right arm. Lower that right arm so the fist is hovering over the floor. From the left booty line, you're going to take that left leg up. Good. It doesn't have to lift it a lot, okay? I'm not looking for the left knee to be up as high as the left hip if it means sagging or dumping in your lower back. Then, from the back line of the left thigh, you're doing an intentional slow up and down motion. So it's not bouncy, it's not pulsy. We're keeping that nice sharp right angle at the left knee. The left foot is gently pointed. The left toes are reaching towards the ceiling. Wow, so the only things on the ground are your right knee and your left hand. Oh my God, my abs are flaring up. I hope yours are too. We have 5, woo, 4, 3, let's do 2 more, and regroup. So good. We'll get that other side going in a second. Let's do a little flexion and what we call rollover, okay? So we're going to lie down on our backs. You don't need the band for this exercise. You're going to lie down on your backs. We bring both of our knees into tabletop. That's where the knees are right over the hips. Now there are some preps I want to go over here. I'd like you to stretch your legs to your best 90. But by no means does that mean you have to have your legs locked straight. What's most important is that we're starting off with that tailbone anchored to the mat. You're going to cross one ankle in front of the other, it doesn't matter which one. Accessing these low abs beneath the belly button, not these ones up here. On your next exhale, you're going to get a little articulation of that tailbone. Maybe it peels up off the mat about a few inches. Exhale as you lift up. Inhale to lower down. Now, we're going too far if we lift and we feel this tension going into our neck, or we feel this in our arms, okay? So stay living in the realm of those low, deep abs. It's irrelevant how much your toes go up or how much your tailbone peels up. If I were in the room with you, I'd be totally fine if I didn't even see that tailbone lift off. What's most important is that we're accessing this. We are going to exhale as we go, inhale as we lower down. Beautiful. Let's do that for a couple more. Now, if you need a little more challenge, I'm going to offer you this. Have your arms lifted, palms facing one another. But again, when you do that, don't suddenly let your hip flexors take over, start gripping to get this. This is me doing it incorrectly. I'm using hips and I'm using momentum, okay, which we're not looking for. So this is all very intentional and focused on those low abs. We exhale to peel up. Good, keep tension out of the back of the neck. We got 2. And let's go one more time and regroup. Beautiful, friends. Well, let's come on up. We'll get that lateral arm raise done for the other side. And then good news, I don't think I forgot anything. We're going to stretch. All right, so we've got our band nice and wide. Excellent. We're going to hold ourselves with our knees together. So both knees, ankles, feet absorb to your midline. Great. And you just find that neutral spine and pelvis we've been addressing quite often in this class today. Hold with a closed fist grip the band in your left hand. Keep the wrist long. You might find, as I'm doing right now, one side does not behave the same as the other. That's okay. Beautiful. So we're inhaling, lifting the left arm directly sideways, keeping what is called a pronated forearm grip. That means the wrist and the forearm skin is facing the wall by your feet behind you. And less again, I'm going to say it ad nauseum, less about how high you lift that arm, more about keeping that shoulder blade stabilized, keeping your chest square to the floor beneath you, keeping your spine and pelvis neutral, alignment nice and even. Beautiful. The breathing is inhale as you sweep that arm up. Exhale as you slowly lower. We're not just going to drop out. Beautiful, friends. Now let your toes melt into the floor. Let your metatarsals, those are the long bones of your feet, also melt into the floor. Keep the glutes soft, upper inner thighs magnetized. Beautiful. I know, I don't even feel my left arm. I feel my abs, and I hope you are too. Beautiful, guys. We have just a couple more. Remember, there is one change coming up on deck. We've got this. Inhale to sweep that arm up. Exhale to lower. Let's check this right elbow is not hyperlocking. Give me a little breath of air in that crease. Beautiful, friends. Now hold that left arm so it's hovering. The fist is hovering over that floor, a teeny tiny quarter of an inch. From the crease beneath the right buttock, we're going to invite that right leg to float up, keeping 90 degrees angle at the right knee. It's not important that that knee is up as high as your booty. Beautiful. Keep weight even on your left shin and your right hand the same. And the band's not moving. The only thing moving now is the small, slow, intentional lift and lower of that right hip, moving from that crease beneath the right booty. We're here for 8, 7, eye line is down, so the back of the neck is long. For 4, we're stretching after that. This is good. For 3, for 2, and let's bring it all the way down. Great job, everyone. We're going to take things up to standing the way we started, bringing the band with us. You guys were so much fun today. Let's make sure this band is wide, and we're going to step in. Have about 1 inch of space between your 2 feet. Again, all 10 toes are shining straight ahead. So we're going to stand even with our weight on the heels and the toes the same. You're going to bend your left arm. Oh, by the way, don't choke up too much. You see how little I have here? That's important. You're going to bend the left arm like you're taking a top hat off, as if you're in chorus line. You extend that left arm. The band is aligned with the left sideline of your body. And then we think of arcing up and over to the wall on your right. We still have space here on the right waistline. And then we're going to come back up, nice and neutral. Bring that left arm back down. Let's do the same thing other side. Bend the right elbow. Extend the right arm so that band is nestled, attached to the sideline of our body as best as you can. Side bend over, maintain weight equal on both feet the same. Should feel nice. And then coming right back down. We'll do that one more time, each way with flow. So we're going to extend the arms, inhale to side bend, exhale to come back down, right arms turn, we stretch, inhale to reach up and over, exhale to come back. Let's do a nice little upper mid-back extension finish. We extend both arms out towards shoulder height. Beautiful. With the abs pulled in, supporting the lower back, we're going to lift that chest nice and proud towards the heavens. Come back to vertical, nice and neutral again. Lift the chest up to the heavens, shoulders melting down. Broadening wide the collarbone in front of the chest. Come back to neutral, arms return to shoulder height, shoulder width. Last one. Inhale to extend. Exhale to come back. Go ahead, just release that band on the floor as if you're wallpaper peeling off the wall. We're going to round forward. Permit the knees to soften and bend. Our head is dangling. Our arms are like the branches of a weeping willow tree. Hang out here looking at the wall between your legs. Swaying gently left to right. Beautiful. And then finally on our next exhale, we'll start to curl up through the spine, stacking the billowy pockets of airspace between the vertebrae, one by one, keeping that head down to the last possible moment. Shoulder blades slipping down the back of the ribs, sternum is floating up, and the head lifts up last. All right, everyone, thank you so much. That's your class today. It was great having everyone here. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I certainly had a great time with you. Hi, Jessica, how are you? And get out there, enjoy your Sunday. Thank you so much, everybody. Great to see everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Have a good rest of the week.
I will. My pleasure, everyone. I'll see you next time. I'm here in 2 more weeks, and I'll have a different prop and everything, okay?
Amazing class.
All right.
You're the best. Thank you.
Bye.